This is the story of a zombie apocalypse, in which in turn completely destroyed the world. It started in one suburban neighborhood. Three teenagers were stealing vehicles and didn't care about the world. It wasn't long before officers responded to the thefts. Petty theft, someone had thought. This wasn't their first. This wasn't their first theft. However, things were going to take the biggest turn for the worse in just a few minutes. After they had put the teenagers down to jail, it wasn't long before the news got out. Breaking news. We got reports of some strange gases in the air. If you are a military veteran, you probably know something was off by now. If you see what looks like green toxins going in the air, you want to run immediately. Those toxins apparently are doing something to people. The second that someone breathes it in, they don't just survive. They turn into something entirely different. Let's just say that at first, they have nothing wrong with them. But then the signs start to show. Grease, skin, rotting flesh, and the loss of sight, which became obvious after 3 million people had been infected by now. What they didn't know was a forgotten chemical plant underneath the area had exploded, sending toxins in the air with that exact description of gas, and it was causing it to float up into the air, which was in those causes causing people to become infected and turning into zombies. People were freaking out. They did not know how, not know why, and what was going on. Several officers had pulled out their weapons and shouted, "Get your A on the ground now. I'm not joking. Get your A on the ground now." Someone says, "Get your S on the ground now. Now. I'm not joking." They started to shout. But nothing had been done, and those mindless creatures began to attack the nearby barricade. The barricade didn't hold long. An officer was bitten repeatedly, in the eye, in the groin, in the chest, and on his hand. Now he was infected in multiple spots, and he had to be left behind. "Go, go, go, get out of here now!" An officer screamed. They ran out, leaving one of their men behind. It wasn't long before more backup arrived. "If we don't kill whatever those things are, they'll destroy humanity," a man said, shaking in absolute fear. "We don't know what the heck those things are, so how are we supposed to kill what we don't even know what it is?" Rotting corpses. Rotting brains. "They're dead. They can't die again, sir," the chief said as he pulled out a vial. "I found this in the abandoned house hours before this had happened." Then the other officer stared at the chief. "You know something, sir? Because whatever is going on is not safe for humanity." "I know," the chief said. "We need to block this place off entirely. We can't let any more innocent lives die to whatever is going on." And so they did. They barricaded the entire area. Nobody got in, nobody came out. And if someone got in there, They were trapped, locked in there, and quite literally because millions of zombies now roamed that area. The suburban neighborhood collapsed because soon, without repairs and people to mandatory check on the buildings, make sure that everything was safe, the buildings slowly rotted away, leaving nothing behind besides rotting decay and a sense of destruction. When the zombies have finally died off, it didn't mean the virus had left. Just because a few zombies died didn't mean this virus left that easily. Because when something is around, it's around until it dies entirely. When more officers had responded to whatever was going on, they could not send more people there because over 3 million officers were infected anymore, and they'd basically lose their entire force. They used whatever resources they had left to save humanity. The entire government fell. Nobody in the government facilities in that spot had survived. The only law authority left were officers and military personnel. It wasn't long before the people that had caused this had eventually came out of hiding and put their hands up. We caused it, the scientists said. We caused it, okay? We thought it would. You thought it would what? The man said in absolute shaking rage. He grabbed the scientist by the throat and started to choke him. Then the scientist knocked into the floor and said, "We caused it, okay? We thought it would, we thought it would, cure humanity's sickness. Shut up, okay? You've done enough." The soldiers screamed. They arrest the scientist. The scientist was then locked up. He didn't have any chance of surviving. You want zombies so damn bad, you should become one of them. And then the scientist screamed in absolute fear. No, 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 no. This was an accident. You were the accident. The soldier screamed. He pulled the lever and made him fall. Then the scientist fell to his death as hundreds of zombies swarmed to his location, biting and tearing at his fresh flesh. When the scientist awoke, he was no longer human. He was one of them. "What the hell did you do?" Another soldier screamed. "You want to be part of them too?" the general said. And the other soldiers backed away. "Why are you doing this? We're supposed to free humanity," the other soldier said. But he didn't listen. He pulled out a radio and said, "Yep, we got another one." More soldiers came in and shot that soldier to death. We can't have any loose ends. Nobody could find out it was actually us that caused the virus. 3 hours later, over 3,333 people were killed. The virus had spread to multiple local hospitals. There was only one other way to save humanity, but it wasn't the way anyone expected. However, it wouldn't be easy. A few hours later, a group of scientists were working on a cure. They had to find a way to free what was trapped inside, because what was once human is no longer human. and they knew for a fact that if they could not save them in a matter of days, not only would their brain be fully rotted away, but they would completely lose their sanity. And on top of that, they would no longer be, well, alive in technicality. Everyone knew that. So they rushed to make a cure. Let's work on this now. We only got but so many days left. They started to work and work for hours, for 8 grueling hours, 8 agonizing hours. They eventually managed to get the cure. The soldiers had ran in. Drop the mother effing vial now. One of the soldiers screamed. Put the mother effing vial down now. We're not letting you do anything. Are you insane? Do you want to be infected? Another soldier smirked and said, You don't understand, do you, sir? We caused it. We're the real reason why everything is destroyed, and we want order. Are you nuts, or are you actually stupid? What do you mean? The soldier said. Then the scientist responded with, Zombies will eventually forget who created you. Then they'll charge you and kill you. Then he grabbed a vial and stabbed it straight through an infected. In a matter of seconds, that zombie passed out and woke up, barely alive, human again, and the soldier screamed, No, you can't save humanity. I won't let you. The soldier started to chase him down, threatening to kill him and everyone else he knew. But he did not stop. He kept running. He got inside the soldier's car. He turned it on and drove away. The scientist that was blamed and forced to admit to something he never committed, he died for. And the real culprits were the government, the military, and the police. It wasn't long before he found several dead youths, and he knew what exactly had happened. Those dead youths, years ago, they were humans stealing cars, but now they weren't because, well, they were dead, shot by the people that once saw them as enemies. Now, they did not even get the chance to be saved, because before they could even be saved, over a few span of days, they had starved to death. Many have. And because the world was still not saved, it was only a matter of seconds before the government finishes what they start. Attention all people. Attention all people. The loudspeaker had broadcasted. In a matter of 5 minutes, we are destroying this planet until there's absolutely nothing left. Humanity had died, and there's no point in staying around on a planet where humanity is just dead. A soldier said, But I'm not going to let him die. Another nearby scientist had said, Shut your effing mouth up. We don't need your say-so in this, you ingrate. The soldier shouted over, You're a brat. Now get the hell out of here. And so he was forced out. But the man who still had the vial was hidden. He recorded every last thing and showed it to the officer. Legitimate proof. And that officer had grabbed his taser, tased the man repeatedly, and asked, Have you ever felt a zombie bite before? Then he was confused. Then the officer had tased the man in the head, which caused the man to bleed. Then the man stared and said, "What the hell, dude? You just killed a dude." Then the officer said, "I had to. He was most wanted in the list. He's literally the reason why this stupid apocalypse took everything. He took my family from me, and I would take everything from him," the officer said, when suddenly, "Ah!" the officer screamed. He got bitten. "Shoot me! Shoot me!" he begged. "Shoot me!" But the nearby man refused. He couldn't. He was shaking in terror. "Dude, shoot me before I eat you," he said. "I'm infected. I can't be saved." But he refused. He stabbed most of the vial straight into the officer, and the officer was relieved. He was saved before he even turned, even though only one piece of his body got infected. The rest of his body didn't, because he was saved before his own death. "If I keep saving people, there'll be no vial left," the man said. "So if you get bitten again, I can't help you," he said, saying it with absolute, genuine terror. Then they make it to a nearby mountain. The man says, "Do it. Do what you need to." Then the officer had pointed to a nearby plane. "They're gonna do it in 5 seconds. You only got 5 seconds. Do it." He did. He ran to the nearby facility tower, and he dropped the cure straight in to the vents. 3 hours later, zombies that had walked into the fumes, their transformations were reversed, and their bodies slowly became rotless as their bodies reverted to rot, while some skin that was dead, refused to budge, was peeled off. And soon, the apocalypse had ended, but one thing still remains. How did the apocalypse begin? Well, it wasn't long before they found out who did it. They started to torture him, the man that did it. Well, one of the men involved, because the person that did it was shot dead within the story. "The world deserved it," the man said, but they weren't having it. They pulled their triggers and unloaded a full magazine against the man's chest and entire body. Bullets riddled his entire body, blood splattering everywhere. "Well, he's dead. He deserved it. He caused the apocalypse with his partner we shot dead earlier." It wasn't long before humanity slowly grew. More youth around the street, and more elderly around the street as well. And humanity had went its full cycle, almost dying to a literal apocalypse that someone started, all because they wanted revenge.